Hello class! Today we are going to have a lesson on Kre-O Transformers Optimus Prime. I was walking through my local Toys R Us and happened to see, well, I'm going to say basically Lego Transformers, and I saw Optimus Prime. And because I buy Optimus Primes, or at least most of the time, I decided I had to have this. So we're going to have a look at, well, I want to say this figure, but really it's a bunch of building blocks that become a figure. But we'll have a look at this. So there we can see what it's going to look like in robot form, and there we can see what it's going to look like in truck form. And there it's 2-in-1, truck or robot, which is awesome. But on the fine print, if you look, I don't know how well we're going to be able to see that. Anyways, it says, product shown in fantasy situation. Ooh! Product does not convert. Which is funny, it says does not convert, it should say product does not transform, right? Seriously. So basically you're getting one set of building blocks and 2 sets of instructions. Which I'm pretty sure we'll see once we bust this thing open. Let's see what else we got here. So there's Prime. Now there's 3 of these shiny stickers, and it's because I do live in Canada, so we gotta make sure we have English and en français, and I'm probably guessing that's Espanol. But anyways, it says here, and again, I don't know how well we can read it, works with leading brands. So essentially what they're saying is that this is knockoff Lego. Way to go, Hasbro. Good job. Knockoff Lego. Seriously. Anyways, on the side there we can see, yep, Optimus Prime. That way, you know, if you didn't recognize it there, you can see it on the side. Now, if you look, the Kre-O brick, actual size or something? Actual size. So there's bricks that are that big. And I guess the thing that separates this from Lego is that one of them has like a little hole or something. So it's not exactly the same. Again, it's well, I'm sorry, but it's really just knockoff Lego. But anyways, and on the back, we've got a couple other pictures of Optimus Prime. Which, wow, it's the same images, just put on a different background, so you can see them a little more clearly. But we can create it with Kre-O, build Transformers characters in vehicle or robot mode. I have to admit, I thought that this thing was going to transform. Now, I haven't researched these that much. I didn't read the packaging that much. I just kind of went, ooh, Lego Transformers, Optimus Prime, and I picked it up. So I really didn't know what I was getting into. So, I have to admit, I am a little disappointed it doesn't transform, although it doesn't really surprise me because it doesn't really look like it can. But, what we're going to do is we're going to open this up. Grab me a box cutter. It's just that little plastic bit there, I think. And there, I even didn't cut myself. That, for me, is a small miracle. So, we can open up the box and we can see what we have on the inside. We have a... You know what? I've bought cameras that have less instructions than this. Seriously. And I'm a camera nerd, geek, so that's significant. There we've got instructions for putting these things together. We've got a list of all the different bricks that you get, or the blocks that you get. Let's see, what else? Ooh, stickers. I like stickers. I don't even want to call these decals, I'm going to say stickers. But there we have them, so I'm going to have to try to put those on the pieces, and that's going to be an adventure in itself. And then, of course, we've got the actual Legos, or I'm sorry, Kre-O building blocks themselves. Let's see if, oh, you know what? Trying to rip open the plastic is stupid when you got yourself a knife. Whoa. Okay, trying to open things with a knife when you're a klutz is kind of stupid, too. There we go. Yeah, I know, myself and knives, bad. I'm generally not allowed to have string. I'm more of a danger, I think. Well, I don't know if I'm more of a danger to myself than everyone else. Depends on what kind of mood I'm in, really. Anyways, there's all of our blocks. Now, am I going to try to assemble these things on camera? Hell no! Because it's going to take me a little while, and, well, I'm pretty good at rambling. Maybe not that much. Plus, I'm going to be distracted by trying to put this thing together. So I think what we're going to do is when we get that far, we're going to cut and we're going to take a break, and I'll build it maybe in the truck, and then maybe we'll disassemble it and build it in the robot as well. Just a couple other things. There are 90 pieces, so in here there are... oh wait, there's another bag. So there's 90 pieces for this thing. I think that's all I need to talk about for the box. Oh, sorry. Now that I'm looking, see we got something else. Also available. there's Bumblebee and Autobot Jazz. I thought about buying the Autobot Jazz because they come with these little figures that are called, I think, Creons or something, that look kind of like Lego men, but in Transformers characters. But then I just realized I didn't care. I only wanted Optimus Prime, because I'm like that. At any rate, so I think what we'll do is I think I'm going to take a break, since I've shown you the box and all the packaging and the fake Legos that we have in here. So what I'll do is, we'll come back in a minute and we'll look at the truck for Kre-O Transformers Optimus Prime. So, back in a minute. Alright, we're back. We've had our first break. I've sat in front of the TV at the coffee table and I've put together Optimus Prime in his truck form. And we'll take a look at this in a second, but there is something I want to point out first. Actually, a couple things. First, you can see the truck there on the box. And if we look at the instructions, if we look at the top part just above the roof, we can see it's actually different. The pieces are reversed. So when I first put it together and then I looked at the box one, there's something not right here, and after much cussing and swearing I realized, oh, no, I did it right, they just put it on the box differently. Which struck me as a little bit odd. But there you go. So even they don't follow the instructions and they made the effing thing. So what you gotta say about that? But there's one other thing, and I thought this was just hilarious, so I gotta show everybody. They have instructions. Well, first they're gonna show you what you're building. Skill level 2, which I guess is good. It says, sort your blocks by color and size to make them easier to find. Maybe my wife wrote that. Who the hell sorts out their Legos before they start putting stuff together? Seriously. I don't, and of course that's why it takes me longer, because I can't find nothing. But, I mean, does anyone do that? And if you do, shut up, I don't want to hear it. Anyways, so, Optimus Prime, in his truck form, he rolls around really well. I like how the wheels have gone on there, just, it's a simple wheel on a peg, which is nice. So he does move pretty well. Standard kind of colors we'd expect. Lots of red and then blue where I guess the legs would be. We've got the Autobot symbols here on the side, and those are just stickers, so if they look a little crooked, that's because I don't have the necessary craftsmanship of putting stickers on correctly. Like, I know people who build models and that require decals to be put on, and they get tweezers and they just put it on there ever so, yeah, no, evil professor can't be bothered doing that. So all the stickers are always going to be a little bit crooked when I'm dealing with it. But, you know, altogether, not a bad vehicle. One thing I do have to say, though, I'm sorry, is that for the truck, it looks very narrow. It looks like somebody took a regular Optimus Prime truck and squished it and made it really skinny. It just seems odd to me. I don't know why that is, but it seems very narrow. It looks okay from the side, but from the front, you're like, holy crap! I was expecting that to be, you know, wider, but otherwise, it's okay. In terms of the Lego pieces, or sorry, the Kre-O pieces themselves, I'm gonna pop. Let's see if I can get one or two off. The blocks themselves feel like they're made of a cheaper, softer plastic than Legos typically do. And even when you put them together, if you've ever played with Legos, and if you haven't, seriously, what the hell's wrong with you? I thought all kids had to play with Legos at some point. The pieces all fit together very gently, very, very softly. Like, usually with Legos, you really have to kind of reef them, and then you hear them click, and that's how you know. These ones not so much, and so they come apart very easily as well. That may be by design, though, now that I think about it, because in a couple minutes I'm going to rip this thing apart and then try to put together the robot. So if the pieces are really difficult to pull apart, that's obviously going to defeat that purpose. So there you go. There's the truck. It's not too bad. I said it looks narrow to me, but let's face it, we don't buy Optimus Prime toys because we like trucks. We buy Optimus Prime toys because we like big robots that smash other robots. So, I think what we're going to do is we're going to take another break. I'm going to disassemble this thing in a very gentle manner, so I'm going to go, oh, actually that put up with that abuse pretty well. Anyways, I'm going to pull this thing apart. There, now he looks like Death of Optimus Prime from the movie or something. We'll come back, and we'll have a look at the robot. Back in a minute. Alright, we are back for our last look at this Kre-O Transformers Optimus Prime. I guess it would be like the basic version, because I think there's a much, much larger version, so this would be the Scout class or something. But anyways, there we can have a quick look. 360-degree view of the figure. There we have him. I guess it's more or less what we expect for Optimus Prime kind of colors. We've got blue on the legs with some gray, and then red mostly for the torso. We've got the windshield here on his chest, and his face, his head is blue. Now, one thing I want to talk about before I talk about the rest of the figure, whoops, Didn't quite mean to do it that way, but that's okay. If you look at his head here, I'm not sure if this is a new mold or a new sculpt for his head. I'm honestly not sure. I have no idea. Because let's face it, you put a faceplate, this little thing in the middle, and two kind of fins or whatever on the side of his head, you more or less have Optimus Prime. So I'm not sure if that's new or not. But one thing I can say is that the plastic is really soft for the head. It's like incredibly soft. Maybe that's so you can get it on this peg. I probably won't be able to take it back off now. But there you have it. The head of Optimus Prime. Right, and it's like that one episode where he had his body ripped apart or something. Maybe that's what you can do with these almost Legos. So we talked about the color scheme a little bit. It's basically what we would expect. Because it's just colored blocks, we don't have to worry about paint application too much, just the unprofessionalism of how some of the stickers were put on. You can see the big Autobot emblems on his arms. Now if we want to talk articulation for a second, which there's not a lot of, so it won't take us very long, we can rotate the head all the way around. Whoa! We do have to be careful though, because it seems like every time I try to move or adjust something, I end up popping a piece off this thing. The arms go pretty high up, ridiculously high up, like it looks like he's trying to do the butterfly stroke or something. Put those back down. He does have elbow joints that go all the way up, and then all the way down. And then his legs can move forward and out to the side a little bit. They can rotate. It's on a ball joint, so we can move that pretty well. Not a whole lot side to side, but a little bit. And then his ankles have a joint as well, so they can move. And these joints at the hips and here at the ankles are really, really stiff, which is good in that they'll hold. It's bad in that it's a little bit more difficult to try to pose this figure, which may seem kind of like a lost cause anyway, because I don't think there's enough articulation to really make it worth the while. You can just make him with his arms out a little bit and turn his head and pop it off. Oh boy. So, there we go. Now, the one thing I have to say is I know they did some kind of building block transformer before. I can't remember what this series was called. It was around the time of, I think it was Armada, and they were horrible. They tried to use the blocks or Legos or whatever they were to build the head, and the faces of the Transformers, and they just looked wretched. Now, on the flip side of that, we have a sculpted head. That's just one piece on its own, stuck on a body of building blocks. And while the head does look a lot better, I mean, it looks like Optimus Prime, it doesn't look, it looks out of place. You've got this whole Lego-esque thing built here, and then you just have a regular head put on top. It, to me, looks really, really just out of place. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, really, about this figure. Whoa, except the fact that I keep busting it apart. Now, I have to say one thing, and maybe it's something about building blocks or Legos that I had totally forgotten about, and I am totally breaking this thing as I'm trying to talk about it here, is I had forgotten how difficult it is to pull these things apart, some of them. And one thing in particular, this is just so not going too well, is it, are the wheels and the little bits that they're attached to. And the reason I bring that up is because we have a piece here, for example, that has two wheels on it. That's wonderful. And it just sits on his back until I fidget with the thing, and then it falls off. On the back here, on the back of his legs, we have these here. That's one wheel. And there would be another spoke here. Separating this wheel from this spoke piece is worth your life. Oh my goodness, it took me so long to try to separate these goddamn things. And the way the pieces are, you're only going to be able to do that so many times. Eventually, if I can grab another one, there we go. You can see the kind of spoke it is. It's just it's got the pieces that kind of go out a little bit. Well, you can only put wheels on that and then break it off, and wheels on that and then pull them off, and wheels on that and pull them off so many times before it simply breaks and the wheel won't go back on anymore. So I have this feeling that this figure, such as it is not going to be being turned back into a truck too many more times. Even though, well, you know what, to be honest, I like the truck form better than the robot. I don't know, the robot just doesn't really do a whole lot for me. Now, would I recommend buying this? You know what? No, unless you really, really like fake Lego, or you're just that diehard of an Optimus Prime fan. Not even Transformers so much, but Optimus Prime, yeah, sure. But otherwise, you know what? I think most people are going to be able to pass on this. It's there's better Optimus Primes out there that you can spend your money on. For me, this was a, hey, I'm bored. Hey, look, it's an Optimus Prime Lego. And then that's exactly what I got. So, if I were to give this figure, and maybe the whole thing, because I don't want to judge it just based on it being a figure, because it's not. It's a bunch of building blocks that can kind of turn into a figure. You know what? Based on the fact that the head really doesn't match, the blocks feel kind of cheap, and the fact that it is just a rip-off of Lego, and the figure I don't really care for too much, and the truck is hit and miss. Gets, you know what, it's a grade of C-. It's just not that good. I wouldn't recommend people buy it. I mean, obviously it's one of those things that's meant for children, but let's face it, the whole channel, all the stuff we're talking about generally is supposed to be meant for kids. And I think I know a kid who's probably going to end up with this thing. So that's about it. It's not worthwhile, I don't think. It's not even really average. It's kind of So I would pass on that. I think most people can. But again, that's just my opinion. I'm just not that fond of it because I like Optimus Primes, and this just doesn't really do it for me. At any rate, I believe that was our lesson on Kre-O Transformers Optimus Prime. Thank you very much, and class is dismissed.